Hi guys, welcome to the fourth Create a Mario Party board contest. Now this is a somewhat regular thing that we do where we let you guys submit your own customly created Mario Party 1, 2, or 3 boards. Boards that can be actually played in the original games through the use of the Party Planner 64 tool. During these contests, we rate and review your boards, and we being myself, SuperZambezi, along with my other judge.
Me, SpiderStaryu. Yeah. Hey guys, hey everyone.
For this contest, we had a specific theme, character-based boards. So think of something like Luigi's Engine Room or Waluigi's Island. Those are the types of boards that we were asking people to send. Yes. And we got 9 submissions, 9 boards total, and we'll be going through each and every single one, talking about them, what we liked, what we didn't like, where we think they really excelled, and where there could be some improvements. And for this particular contest, we really streamlined the process. There used to be 10 different categories where we'd rate.
Yes. Oh my god.
Rate a board 5 points each for each category for a total of 50. We still have 50 points for each board, but now it's down to 4 categories. The first one is the background, anything that has to do with the artwork or just the visuals that you see. The second one is the path layout, and that'll include everything from the spaces used to where they're placed to how the junctions are, whatever. And this also includes, is it clear where you're supposed to go while playing the board?
Yes.
That's a big one. And we also have a category for custom events. That's a new thing with Party Planner 64, at least for this contest. All boards require some kind of custom happening events, and that is one of the categories. The more special it is, the more points you got. And we have a final category for the contest theme. Is your character-based board, does it work? Like, does the theme really fit the name and the idea that you were going for? Now, the first 3 categories are worth 15 points each, and the last one, the contest theme, is only worth 5 points. So that one was not as important to whether your board functions correctly or not. I think I covered everything at this point, so I think we're ready to get started with our very first board. Now, we are going to go in the order that they were submitted. We did have a little bit of an extension to the deadline, so we have boards all across different times of when they were submitted. But this one, the first one we start with, is the one that was submitted first. And this one is Pipe Wonderland by Sponge Yoshi. Sponge Yoshi being someone that's entered the contest prior. So this was an exciting one to see first. Right, so for this board, we have a Piranha Plant theme. There are pipes everywhere. There's like murky water, all that stuff. The big gimmick here is that there are warp pipes within the path itself, all around the board, that you enter and exit out somewhere randomly. And as you play, you'll figure out that this particular warp pipe will always lead to the one in the far right corner. And I can always use them to go back and forth, and you slowly discover which ones go where. It's always different each game. The catch is that the Piranha Plant in the middle will allow you to switch all of the pipe connections for, I think, like 10 coins or something, whatever it is. There's an option to do that. So it can all be flipped. So you can kind of get the strategy going, and then it can all be wiped away. That's the general gist of this board. And it's time to talk about it. What did we think?
Well, right off the gate, I think we kind of when you were talking about like how everything's warping and like you go from different parts of the board every second, that was something I remember, especially you thinking that, you liking that a lot. Like, you thought that was very creative, very awesome. And I thought that too. I thought like, wow, like these custom events, we really wanted to include these types of things in the Party Planner boards because like they really can make a board seem so special, so cool. straight up. And with Sponge Yoshi with this board, like warping in different places. And I think also, I don't know if we mentioned this, but there's piranha plants on the board, and they do different things. Like you can lose some coins, you can affect other people.
Yeah,
other people lose coins, different things like that. So every time you land in a happening space, it's going to be kind of different, and that's what makes it fun. You know, it's so fun to play a Mario Party board and find out what exactly the happening space is going to do. Like that's why it's a big old question mark. It's like, what is this going to do? What is this going to do? And you totally feel that with this board for sure.
The only downside to that is that I feel like a lot of the events on this particular board are negative. Like they don't really help me. They just kind of. Maybe I have to look at the list again because there's quite a few. It's not just like every happening space is the same. It's different types. There's like naval buds and spiny piranha and fire piranha, roto piranha, nipper plant. They all do different things. But you always want to have a balance of like good and bad because you don't want to play a game that's just constantly punishing you because it's just not fun.
We don't want to play on Bowser's Magma Mountain, right? We don't want to play on that, where you play on a board and everyone's like punishing you.
Just you're being miserable. Like, where's the party in that? I don't think that's what's happening here, but it is just something to keep in mind. I think there is a very... Unfortunately, I think there is a very big downside to this board, and it has to do with the very beautifully hand-drawn background, which is gorgeous. But for this particular game, it's too dark, and it's very confusing as to where you're going. Kind of all the time while you're playing. There aren't very clear, like, this is a path, or like arrows guiding you exactly where you're supposed to go. There is some of that, but for the most part, it's a difficult board to understand where you are headed next. I was constantly looking at like the party planner map to see where the connections go, or constantly just trying to look ahead because I never really knew, based on the background, what was going to happen next. So,
yeah, I definitely noticed when we first played this board, it was very hard to tell where you're going. And when you make a Mario Party board, I think this is always something to keep in mind for anyone, people who are making boards now, making boards in the future. You kind of want to make sure people know where they're going, because when we see a picture of the board and we see it blown up, of course we're going to know where to go, because we can look at the map and be like, oh, this place, this place, this place. But when you're down on the board and you're playing Mario Party, it's not always obvious where you're going to go or where you're going to end up. Right? Because it could be that one junction's fine, but then the other junction's like, oh, wait, where am I going to end up going? So I think it's always very important to make it clear that if there's a junction, you have a sign, or you have arrows on the board, on the ground, that say, like, okay, this goes up, this goes right, this goes this way, this goes that way. You want to always make sure you know where you're going, because that can very much affect the Mario Party player. Like, when we play boards, we don't want to always check the map every second. Like, when we start a board, we're not going to know everything about it, so we have to check the map sometimes. But we don't want to check unnecessarily if we don't have to. It should be made clear where you're going to go.
And I think there are a couple of boards in this contest actually that do a very good job at it, where all I have to do is I see the stars placed somewhere, I look at the map and see, oh, it's here. I just trace back arrows, junctions, and all, and I can see how to get there pretty easily. Unfortunately, when I was playing this board, that did not happen as much. It was a little more confusing than it needed to be. Again, it was hand-drawn. That's awesome, and I really love what was done here, but that's unfortunately a downside. Especially because when you play in-game, it just suddenly gets darker somehow. Like, you just look at a picture of it, like, here in this video, it looks pretty good, but it gets darker in the game, so...
I know exactly what you mean, yeah.
That's too bad. There's actually a very special thing about this board, too. Sponge Yoshi submitted 2 different versions. One where the happening star is based on the number of times you warp between pipes, and then another version where the happening star is, well, like it's supposed to be, the number of happening spaces you land on. I don't know how it works, but it does, and it's cool that you have that extra option for a new version of the bonus star. I thought that was a very creative idea. Also, just before we wrap it up, there are 2 skeleton key doors between the 2 sections of the map. They're supposed to be a way to transfer between section to section when you can't rely on the warp pipes. And from what I remember, I never had to do that before. Do you ever remember using the skeleton key doors?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
So I wonder if maybe. Well, here's the thing: when we played it, the piranha plant in the middle was constantly changing the pipe, so
Yes.
the warp pipes weren't set there for very long, and I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that computers they were stupid and they walked by and they paid for it every time. So there wasn't any kind of strategic, you know what, I'm not going to touch it this time. I'm going to keep it the same for the benefit of me and possibly my enemies. So it's just unfortunate with the enemies. There's also the danger zone down below, which I don't think I went down there, so I really can't comment on it too much. I don't think you did either.
I don't think so.
Yeah, but it's like every other standard danger zone that you can think of in a Mario Party board. So yeah, that's that. Really quick before we go into the points that we assigned to this board, I wanted to read the special thanks that SpongeYoshi included. He said that his sister is the one that did the backgrounds, and that's really nice. I remember his sister also did the previous contest, I think Iceland background, and that's so neat. He also thanks Ursula. Oh gosh, I hate pronouncing that name, but Ursula is really awesome with the custom events and gets a special shout out here. And also Strong Crocodile, Luggy, and Tiring Coyote for helping with the beta testing. So one thing I'll say about the boards in this contest is that a lot more time and effort was put into these boards, I think, overall, and that included things like beta testing the boards and testing out custom events, and that just that's really
yeah,
I always really like that. For the point breakdown, remember that each category is out of 15, with the last category being out of 5. So for the background, we gave it a 10. For the path layout, we also gave it a 10. For the custom events, we gave it a 12. I was very impressed with the custom events.
I was too.
Yeah. And for the contest theme, we gave it a 5 out of 5. It's a piranha plant, pipes. It all makes sense. It's all great. So for a total, it is a 37 out of 50 for Pipe Wonderland from us.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you very much, SpongeYoshi, for submitting that board, and I think it's awesome that y'all collabed on it. That's awesome. Seeing people work together to make something great, it's awesome. So thank you, SpongeYoshi, for submitting again.
All right, for the next board, our second board, Baby Bowser's Amusement Park. And this was made by Poison Claw 64. As you can guess from the title, this is based on Baby Bowser and what it would be like if he ran an amusement park. And you can see in the picture that you've got different random horror rides, a haunted house, just a dark carnival type thing going, with little bomb-bombs and another piranha plant spread around too. There's also a little 8-bit Goomba over there. That's neat. So a lot of people might not realize this right from the start, but this background is from Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, to be specific, I think.
2.
Yes, very clear and big distinction. This was just made within the theme park editor, and Poison Claw just took a screenshot of it and made a board layout from it.
Very creative thinking of that.
It is creative thinking. I don't think it fits a Mario Party theme, but that's not that big of a deal. I think as long as your board works right and the custom events are interesting and whatever, then we've got a good board on our hands. And I think the background, for the most part, goes well with the theme. It feels just very jarring a little bit because it's so different from the Mario Party style, but I think it's good enough for me. I particularly like it a lot because I like Roller Coaster Tycoon. I grew up with that, and I see this and I'm like, aw. I don't know you did not really. So what do you think?
No. So right off the gate, I did know this was from Roller Coaster Tycoon because my brother used to play it, used to have it. So I did know, I did catch that too. But yet, like you said, I did not grow up with it. So I was intrigued though, the fact that Poison Claw used this to make a Mario Party board. I always think it's creative when people do different ways. Like, you know, some people draw, some people, like me, use PowerPoint. Using a game like Roller Coaster Tycoon, that's so cool. I do think that's a very creative idea. So props to you, Poison Claw, for that. Yeah. Now for some other notes about the board, I do want to mention. So I'm being a little bit like, I don't know the word, but kind of cluttered with this. But the first thing I do want to bring up is that this board, some of the junctions are a little bit confusing. So in certain areas of the board, Poison Claw has a pink arrow that just goes up, and you know, when you're looking at the board, like how I'm looking at it right now, like it's through Party Planner, so I can see where you have to go. But when you actually play the game, those little like path lanes are not going to be there.
Yeah.
So it's a bit confusing for people when they actually get into the game to actually see like, where do I go? Where do I go? And that happens for a couple junctions, not just one. It happens for a couple of them.
Right.
And even for one, I think where they meet, like two junctions meet together, it's a little bit confusing. So again, I always want to make it clear. Try to make sure it's clear where you got to go.
Right.
Make sure like if it's clear for you, that's okay. But like make it clear for everyone. Everyone needs to know. Okay, there's without a doubt, I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna go this way. So I just think that's something to note for the future and maybe even to fix for your board.
Yeah, and usually when you do put arrow junctions, that's in the background itself. It's not something you add through Party Planner.
Yes.
It's something you have to do on your own. And I say have to because those things are vital. You need to know what your options are. You can't just guess or just have Party Planner open all the time. That's not
Yeah,
fair.
and also think about when Nintendo and Hudson made Mario Party boards. When they made Mario Party 1, 2, 2, and 3, think of that. When they make a board, you always know where you're gonna go. There's without a doubt.
Yeah.
Like they have the path lanes and they have the arrows, so you know, like, okay, I know for sure this is where I'm gonna end up, right? So try to think of it like that.
And actually, so we noticed this after we played and tested the board, but there are green signs near the junction that will have little arrows kind of guiding you a little bit. The only problem is that, well, what I just said, we didn't notice that until after we played the board. We noticed it when we were zooming in, looking at different parts of like the rides and attractions.
Exactly.
So like that's not something that's easily noticed, so it doesn't really help that much.
It doesn't help.
That's just an unfortunate thing. I think that was a good idea, but because of the way like the Roller Coaster Tycoon camera and everything, like it didn't really work all the way. I do want to bring up the custom events for this board. A lot of them are just modifications of the custom events that we have available on our downloads database on MarioPartyLegacy.com/forum. That's fine. That's great. I love having custom events. Nothing crazy or spectacular, but I think what you have works. You have like a custom item shop with different prices. That's cool.
I like that one.
There's the trivia quiz. There was actually a question about like a previous contest. Who was the winner of a previous contest? Like that's cool stuff. I really like that. Yeah, I think there's a random event where you just get, I think, just a random item. So simple stuff. It's not like it's tailored to Baby Bowser or this board in particular, but it's fun and it works. What about kind of like the spaces and the layouts?
So yeah, we do got to talk a little bit about the space distribution. This board has quite a few red spaces and Bowser spaces.
Not a fan.
No,
It's not
a fan of red spaces or who's a fan of red? Okay, wait, who's a fan of red spaces and Bowser spaces? That's number one. Right, this is a Mario Party 7 where like, or Mario Party 8 where like you can get a red star. No red stars in this game yet. Maybe in the future. But you know, there's no red spaces. There's no red star in this game. So like, they're having that many red spaces. I always like to tell people who make Mario Party boards, you know, you can make a board however you want, but just know for general sake, people don't like a lot of red spaces. Your red space count should not match blue space count. That's never something that should happen. You don't want to lose coins a lot more than you gain coins, because understand something, it's already hard to gain coins in Mario Party. You want to gain coins, you gotta win a lot of mini games. You gotta... Who?
Nobody.
I don't know. But unless you win all those mini games, you're not gonna get a lot of coins. So having those blue spaces are kind of what accumulate those coins that you get throughout the game. So having a lot more red spaces, I don't know, I'm just a little bit like hesitant on that, and I just don't think it's for the best. Especially when it's a lot of junctions. When it's a couple, maybe you can get away with it, but when it's a lot of parts on the board, you know, it's not exactly the most fun.
Also, there's that chance time space at the start. It's kind of scary.
Chance time space, yeah.
Oh, we didn't mention this, but when you first start the board, there's admission.
Yes.
For 5 coins. I like that.
That was awesome.
That's a neat idea.
That's nice. That was awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
That was awesome.
I think we are ready to kind of go over the breakdown here.
Yes.
So for let's see. For Baby Bowser's Amusement Park, the background we gave a 6. For the path layout, we gave it an 8. For the custom events, we gave it a 7. I think that's fair, given they're just kind of modifications. And for the contest theme, we gave a 3. And I want to touch on that really quick. I just think there are more things that you could have done to really emphasize that this is Baby Bowser's Amusement Park. Because if you just remove Baby Bowser from the bottom, I would not know that this is Baby Bowser's Amusement Park, right?
Exactly.
But I get the idea that this is kind of a theme park that you probably don't want to go to. I mean, look at it. There's a giant lava pool. You don't want to be there. That makes sense. Right.
All right, let's move on to the next board. The next board we have is Luigi's Clumsiness by Cedric. Hey, Cedric. Thanks for submitting a board. So this board is all about, as you can probably guess, Luigi. This board is totally Luigi written. There's just Luigi everywhere. There's a good side, there's a bad side. If you look at the bottom left, there's an L-shaped section, which is a good section. And then on the top right side is a not so good Luigi section, which is supposed to be shaped like Waluigi's symbol, which I think is not exactly like that, I think. Luigi's symbol.
Yeah, I think it's flipped the other way, but that's okay.
Waluigi. Yeah. Okay, well, just wanted to bring that up. And there's just Luigi everywhere. It seems to be like a grassy area with, you know, there's Paper Luigi, there's the Paper Mario section, there's Luigi and Daisy from Daisy Circuit, my favorite course ever in Mario Kart. There's that section of Paper Mario Color Splash where Luigi went up that giant rainbow with his cart. There's just Luigi everywhere. And bottom right, there's a section of Luigi's Mansion.
Yes.
So there's Luigi everywhere on this board, representing different parts of Luigi's history in the Mario series. So yeah, that's what the board is. And do we have any other features to name?
Yeah, so I think the big things are the custom events that you don't know based on just looking at it. I think from what I remember, you have your standard fare of the ones that are available currently to download, just modified. So we have another trivia quiz with Luigi-themed questions. There are, I think quite obviously, in the bad L section are having spaces where not so great things happen. And down in the middle, I believe, is where you have, I think it's just a coin thing. Yeah, just your standard fare of custom events. I don't think it's anything like crazy or insane, but stuff that works, right?
Yes. Yeah.
For this background of this board, I really, really like it. I think this board right here proves that you might think that you don't have the capability to make a creative, artistic filled background, but I think this proves it otherwise, because everything that's here is, well, I can't speak for like the grassy texture in the back, but
yes.
Everything else seems to be just cutouts from different
games, like little clip art, right? So official art, or like literally taking a screenshot and taking out the little section, what have you. But look at it, it actually works. The background, like the square, the classic Mario Party 3 box thing, that is clearly done. Cedric did on his own. Looks fantastic. Everything here just looks really, really good, and it fits the theme very well. So I'm very happy about that.
All right, so let's just get into little different things about the board and just kind of see what we can see. So first and foremost, Cedric gets the Luigi theme perfectly. Like we love that Luigi is everywhere. Like that's what we mean when we mean a character board. We see the character present. We see that this board can't just be any board. It's a Luigi board. It's a board where you think of Luigi, you're going to see Luigi things. That's the whole point of the character theme. So Cedric, you follow that really, really nicely. So for the space distribution I think is mostly fair. Some of the sections of the board I'm not too sure about, like the bottom left section, and even the bottom right, even the top right section. So those L sections, I just think that there needs to be more of a reason to go there.
Yeah.
So for the bottom left, sometimes a star appears there. So that's a good reason. Okay, that's a reason people would go down there. And if I'm not mistaken, it's blocked by a key gate. It's blocked by a key gate.
Yeah.
Both of them are. So you got to think, why would you go to the top right section to do what? The stars don't usually spawn. Okay, a star can spawn there, but besides that, there's not really much else to go there. What I think you should have done, and this is my personal opinion, I think Boo should have been in that section. Boo should have been in that top right section. So there would be a reason to go there. So you see, people are gonna I feel people will probably avoid that section and just go to the section where you go downwards, because you're gonna run into Boo anyway. Yeah. So I feel like if Boo was in that top right section, there'd be more of a reason. Like, do you want to take the safe path, or do you want to take the top right path where it'll be a little bit tricky, it'll be dangerous, but you can visit Boo?
But Boo fits better with the Luigi's Mansion section.
I know. So you see, there's a bit of a thing there. But
now if I remember, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, to speak on Boo, I remember that when we played, there was kind of like it was kind of a big circle, but there was some circling going around where we were just passing Boo a lot. We would just visit Boo.
Who?
The ghost that gives you coins and a star.
The ghost. Okay.
All right. And we would visit Boo and then immediately take a left, go back to the center, go back up, and you're back at Boo within a few turns. But that did happen a few times. Is that good or bad? I mean, that's up to... I mean, I don't know. I kind of liked it, but I can see that being abused pretty often. But I totally agree about the two sections where I never really have a reason to go up there, except for a star, and that can just be alleviated through a magic lamp or even a reverse mushroom. So
exactly. So I think it's very important to try to make every section of the board at least somewhat useful.
Yes.
Obviously, you can't. You got to do what you want to do, but you want to make sure that people are visiting these sections, because as it stands, people may not visit those sections, and it's really cool the fact that you did that with the L and then the Waluigi symbol. That's really cool. It's a really cool idea.
Yes.
It's just there needs to be more of a reason to go down that section. So like that's just my personal thing. I feel like Boo should go up just a little bit, but that is what it is. For space distribution, I think it's mostly fair. We see a good amount of blue spaces, item spaces. I think there's a bit of an influx of game guy spaces. I'm already seeing about 4 or 5 of them in paths that you have to already go by.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else pretty much fits where it's supposed to be. So, is there any more comments we want to make about the board before we go into the point system?
Yeah, the one big thing that we didn't talk about in the background is that in this board, you know where you're going all the time. The arrows are perfectly displayed, and I just always know what's happening and what's happening next. So this is another great example of that.
Yes, I absolutely agree.
Yeah, let's do the points. So for the background, we said 10. Good score. For the path layout, we said 12. For custom events, we said 8. And for the contest theme is a 5. Basically, if you follow the contest theme pretty well and include as many references as you can, you got your points. So that's going to come down to a total of 35 out of 50. for this board.
Yes. Thank you very much, Cedric, for submitting your board to our contest. So, let's introduce the next board. Our next board is Funky's Roulette by, listen to this, Funky Yosh. See with that funky representation. And what are some other things about the board, SC?
Right, so this board... I'll just go out and say, just right from the get-go, that there isn't that much going on. It's pretty basic in what it's trying to show off and what it does. That doesn't mean it's going to be a bad board. It's just visually, that's the first thing that pops up. Always appreciate arrows guiding you where you need to go. But honestly, there's not that much going on in this board anyway. So even without the arrows, it wouldn't be the end of the world. You can kind of see where the board goes. For stuff like funky, and does this fit the funky theme? There's a couple, like a very small handful of things that reference Funky Kong or the Donkey Kong series, but beyond that, there's not much. The custom events reference funky a little bit more. That's probably where you'll see more of the funky theme. And those custom events are, again, the modified version. So you've got a quiz that has to do with funky. Everyone gets coins and you don't, or something like that. There's an event like that. There's a warping event, specifically in the top right. It's just kind of like a multitude of different custom events. One of them is a warp. The other big thing about this board is that it's supposed to be... You're supposed to kind of pick, do you want to go left or right? It's not a linear board, but it kind of wants you to just follow a quick path in this giant circle. You either go left or right at certain junctions and you make it back. Which I think works fine. You know, like take the first junction, for example. You have the right path, which is supposed to be the bad but faster path. You have a Bowser space, a game guide, 2 happening spaces. If you take the left path, which has 2 extra spaces, you get an item shop. So for me, I will always go left. I'm not going to pass up an item, and it's only 2 spaces. So to me, like some of these junctions, they don't carry enough weight to pick one over the other. Like the next junction, you get to visit Boo, or you get to visit... Well, that's true. Actually, you get to visit Boo or the item shop. So that's actually a choice you'd have to think about that one. But yeah, I think this is a pretty standard board. I don't think there's anything like extremely wrong with it, but I don't think there's anything spectacular happening. So, oof, I'm done.
Yeah, wow, that was nicely put, SC. I think one thing I will say is that this is a really good, I don't know if you've made boards before, Funky Yosh, but I think this is a very good first attempt. So I think just with some critique, I think you could be making awesome boards, right? One thing you want to keep in mind is that this is a character-themed contest, so like you have Funky Kong on there, and some of the custom events relate to Funky Kong, which that's awesome. You want I think, what was it? I think it was like a toad or something. It's like dude or something like that. I swear that's one of the custom events. I feel it, like where the toad makes a comment like dude or like bro or like something like that. I feel like I remember that. But just what I would do is I would add something more related to Funky Kong. Add surfboards. Funky Kong loves surfboards. Add his friends. Add Donkey Kong. Add Dixie Kong. Diddy Kong. Add those little things because that's what makes the board a board. Look at some of the boards that Nintendo has made throughout the many years of making Mario Party. Notice how there's always so much in the background. Like here's an example. Look at Mario Party 3. Look at Deep Blue Sea. You look a little bit downwards at the first part of the board, you'll see a crab with a flag. Sure. And we've made jokes about that. Yes, you will. And you'll see, and you go throughout the board, you'll see clams, like kind of like horses. You'll see coral that's lit so beautifully. You'll see these things that makes you want to explore the board. So I think that's something to keep in mind. Like try to find things you could put on the board that will make people playing the board want to explore, want to be like, ooh, what's over here? I wonder what's at this top part of the board, right? It makes your board stand out more. It makes people more interested in the fact that, wow, look at all this beautiful stuff. Here's another example. I'll use SuperZambezi's board. Look at Shooting Star Summit. look how much stuff is on that board. Look at all the stars. Look at like the many different things you'll see. How it's based off of Paper Mario, and there's so much related to that, along with like, you know, I'm just using an example to show you that like that type of stuff is what makes people so interested and makes people want to play your board even more. So I think this is a great first attempt, and I just want to encourage you to keep making Mario Party boards because we love seeing them.
Yeah, and to be fair, in the board description, Funky Yosh brings it up that he is not an artist and that he was not going to take an art class to make a board, which is totally understandable. But we do have to judge these boards fairly across everyone.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that will affect the score. I totally understand that like art is not for everyone, but that's part of making a custom Mario Party board. That's just a fact. So for the point breakdown, we gave the background a 3, we gave the path layout a 7, custom events 6, and contest theme we did a 2. Really think you could have done more with like the funky aspect of it.
Bananas. It's
Well,
like,
there's a banana coin.
Add some bananas. Okay, there's a banana coin, but Funky Kong and Donkey Kong, they want bananas.
Also, when you mentioned that you should add Donkey Kong, I imagine Donkey Kong peeking out of the DK barrel like this. I think.
Oh my god, that would have been funny. That would have been good.
That probably would have earned you like 10 points with Staryu anyway. So just keep that in mind. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the 5th board. Carrying on the Donkey Kong theme, this next board is Dixie's Vacation, and it was made by Gamma 7. Okay? This is a board that was made using... So think Donkey Kong Country 3. Think of the world maps and the backgrounds that you see while picking a level. This was somebody who took snippets of different locations and put them together to form their own new map. So that's what you're looking at right here. That's why you might be like, this looks like Donkey Kong Country, but I've never seen this place before. That's because it is a custom layout. It's all about Dixie. There are Dixie custom events scattered all throughout the board. I think they all do the same thing. She gives you a mushroom of some kind. In fact, a lot of the Kongs that you get to reach, like you can go to Kitty, he'll also give you a mushroom. A lot of mushrooms on this board.
Yes.
There's also the center water gimmick, where if you want to take a shortcut, you can go through the center area, but you run the risk of landing on a Bowser space. So there are ways to quickly get around the board, but they do come at a risk, and I think it's fairly effective. Not with computers, because they robbed us blind.
No
Bowser
computers.
did.
So computers, it's not anyone's fault, but the way the computers work is they kind of pick random junctions. So they kept picking the junction with Bowser on it, and you don't know how many potlucks I got robbed from. Right? There was a lot of potlucks.
We were broke the whole game.
Oh my god! There was every turn was like a potluck or a revolution or a potluck. It's like, come on, Bowser! I already have like 7 coins, and then you just lose them all. So yeah, I think one thing to keep in mind is it's not really for the creator of the board, but for people playing this board. Play with human players. So computer players can kind of mess you up with those Bowser spaces.
Yeah, and to add insult to injury, while that was happening, I got stuck in the bad zone over there, the coin dozer warp. Yeah, you land on one of those 2 happening spaces in the dark area, and you get sent to the little circle of 5 spaces, and
you get stuck in the hole.
You can't leave until you land on the happening space, and I was stuck there for a little bit, and I just kept losing coins. But those are all fine events. There's also an event up north with K. Rool. He will ask, it's a very steep price, he will ask for 40 coins, and you get to pick first, second, third, or fourth player, and they will, as far as what I understand with the event, they'll lose a random amount of coins, and that can range from like 15 coins to, I think, at least 40. It's possible to lose 40, possibly even more. It's nice. I personally don't think I will spend 40 coins to do that.
Not 40.
That's a big risk, but it's nice that option's there. So you tell me what you think about the path layout, because I think this is where we differ just a little bit in opinion.
So if I remember correctly, when I was playing this board, the party planner arrows or lines were actually on the board. So when you play the game, you actually see the party planner lines and arrows. If I'm not mistaken, you could see those on the board that help guide where you're going.
Yes.
I think.
No, you're right. It did do that.
I am right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I said I thought it was nice. I thought like, hey, that's a cool thing so that you can help see where you're going. Where we differ is, SC, what do you think?
Oh, I think that's ugly. But it does help with. I did know where I was going on the board because of that, but I think it dropped in quality because of it.
You can add your own lines to these types of boards. You can easily add your own lines or arrows or things of that nature so that, you know, it people will like it. But I definitely see why you did it. It definitely helped people know where they're gonna go, especially if they're new Mario Party players or people who just never experienced your board before. They'll know where to go.
Yeah.
They'll definitely know where to go. There's no doubt that they'll know, okay, I'm going this way, I'm going this way. I think maybe the part that's a little bit confusing, I think, is the water, because I don't know if the water had those arrows.
They did not. No.
They did not. So the water is a bit confusing.
Right.
But everything else, you know, to me, it works. It works on where you gotta go. So.
And it was nice because you kind of always knew that this was just a circle loop with little side things to do. So even if those path layouts weren't there, it would be mildly confusing, but at least you understood that it's moving in a clockwise direction. So
yes.
That's nice. For the point breakdown, we gave this board a 7 for the background, a 9 for the path layout, 9 for custom events, and 5 for the contest theme. That will bring it to a total of 30 out of 50 for this board.
Yes.
So we enjoyed it.
Yes.
So yeah, thank you for submitting that.
Okay, guys, let's move on to the next board in our contest. So the next board is King Boo Carnival by Mario Comics. Mario Comics, I know you, boy. I know you. I've seen you on the website before. I've seen you before. I know about you. So King Boo Carnival has a very special feature. This board has a very special feature. So when you kind of start and you move up just like I think like 1 or 2 spaces, you visit a Boo that will give you a key for 10 coins. Like, you have to take it. You have to. You have to give 10 coins and you get a key in exchange. And the way this board works is there's a key exchanging service, which is already explained on the board once you play. There's a sign that says you can exchange your keys here, and you can exchange 1 key for 10 coins, 2 keys for a golden mushroom, or 3 keys for a star. So this board does something very special. It takes the skeleton key, which, let's be real, most of us Mario Party players throw out. We throw out those suckers. Especially when Toad comes and gives you 3 of them, we're like, oh, bye, every turn. But this board does something interesting where it takes those keys and actually makes them useful. You want to have them. You want to have them to exchange and to do other things with. So, yeah, that's just a couple things about this board. Is there anything else that I missed, SC?
No, like board? You got the general idea. It's just that this board also has a lot of custom events that are tailored just for this board, like the Boo teacups or the capsule machine, right?
Yes.
Or the haunted house up at the top, the King Boo's haunt house, the house from Super Mario 64. You know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of stuff. There you go. There's a lot of stuff going on here. I love all the custom events, and when we played, I had a really great time playing this one. I had a lot of fun, and I was very, very, very impressed.
And what I love about this board is this really feels like a Boo Carnival. You see Boos everywhere. If you go everywhere, there's Boo teacups. There, like he said, there's a Boo playing a Switch. Like, you want to explore this board. Look, there's so many cool things. There's a dark Boo. There's a shadow. There's the shadow Boo. What do you call them? Pink Boo. No, do you call them pink Boos? I think I think they're called pink boos.
Sometimes
Pink
they're called
boo.
red
There's
boos. It's stupid.
red boos. There's a boo together with another boo holding hands. There's a boo with a chain chomp, like kind of walking a dog with it. Like, there's so many cool things about this board.
There's actually another cool thing I just noticed. So if you look at the top, there's a little Boo Bell house, which is nice. That's actually a custom event. And then on the right side, there's the Peepa Bell.
Peepa.
And didn't they make that into an item too?
Yes.
So it's like it's both of like the Boo items, and there's put there as houses. There's cool references like that.
Yes.
The arrows are like ghost themed.
Ghostly.
Like
yes.
spooky.
Yes.
Yeah. There's just a lot going on here. I was very impressed with this board. Maybe the one thing that I wasn't the biggest fan of is that bottom section outside the castle. Outside the carnival grounds, there's a very long.
It's very long
path that I just kind of, and it's guarded by a skeleton key door, which I just never had any reason to go down there. I don't think there's any
except to visit Boo.
Except to visit Boo, yeah. I guess I personally never went there when we played. So
right. Well, I think definitely there could be more added to that area. Just maybe some more item spaces, maybe maybe one or two more chance time spaces. Just something that makes it like, oh, if I go down there, something might happen. You know what I mean? But I just think this is such an amazing board. Like, I'm sorry to go back to it, but just the background, just, oh my god, there's a Boo dropping an ice cream. Of course, Boo would drop an ice cream. Who else would drop an ice cream? Yeah. There's a Boo with a balloon. There's a Boo with a balloon. There's Bo from Paper Mario with her butler. There's the Boo from, probably not many people played this, but there's a Boo from Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions. With the Boo with the flag. It's a leader Boo. If you play the game, you know what I'm talking about. It's a leader Boo. It's so cool. I just love how much attention to detail Mario Comics put into this board, because I want to play this just by looking at it. Like, just seeing the different things. Like, this is a board that's going to go on to be a great board for people to play. Like, think of Paradise Isles, where it's just so, you want to keep playing it. This is going to be a board people are going to keep wanting to play. And I'm so proud that we're, getting boards like this that just, it screams Mario Party. Like, when you see this, you think of Mario Party. You think of, wow, look at all the cool stuff. You think of, wow, look at different spaces, different events that can happen. That's so cool, and that's just what I love about it. So this is a great board.
Yes.
And also has the Mario Party 3, what do you call it?
The box thing.
At the top.
Yeah.
Box thing, yeah. Awesome.
Okay. Are we ready to move? I don't know. There's a lot to talk about this. Like, I was just looking at the magic show area. Unfortunately, I don't remember what these custom events do, but they do cool things.
I don't remember.
Yes. And the goal for most of them is to get skeleton keys, to gather them. Not only is this like just a good looking board, and like the path layout is all nice and it works.
Yeah.
The gimmick of trying to collect skeleton keys that's such a great idea that I know many people have tried to do, and I think this one really succeeds at it. There are many opportunities to get them at the events. It's just, overall, this is a really great board. So, for the background, we gave it an 11. For the path layout, we gave it a 12. For the custom events, we gave it a 13. This was very, very impressive.
Keeps getting bigger numbers.
And for the contest theme overall, we gave it a 5, the maximum amount.
Yes.
So for the board gets a total of 41 out of 50. We loved it. We had a really great time with it.
Yes.
And I think we are ready to move on to the next board. This one is Toad's Mushroom Manic, and it's by Eshi. And switch it on. So this might be kind of one of the big issues we have with this current board, is that we look at it and we don't immediately know what it's supposed to be. Toad's Mushroom Manic, and we can't really tell.
Where's Toad?
So I think the idea is that there is a bow tie, and Toad might be some kind of host for some kind of event. Actually, so the description says, Toad has decided to invite the cast of Mario Party to his game show, Mushroom Manic. The game show is full of trivia and random events to keep players on their toes. Fine description, but the board doesn't really reflect that beyond the fact that it's shaped in a bow tie. I actually don't mind the bow tie shape that much.
it is a very linear board. I did find it fun that, maybe fun's not the right word, but interesting that sometimes I was, oh no, that, I don't mean it like that. I did enjoy playing the board, but right. I think it was more of an interesting concept that, you know, I'm on the left side of the board and the star shows up on the right, and I can actually fairly quickly try to get back to the middle and go over there. And it's kind of like a back and forth of where the star goes. So I kind of like that. But before I keep going, I mean, is there anything that stands out for you right from the start about this board?
One thing I do want to say is that this board's lacking severely in item spaces. This board is called Toad's Mushroomanic, right? Right? It's about Toad. Yeah. Where are the item spaces? There should be lots of item spaces. There's only 2.
Oh,
There's only 2. There's 2. One at the top left, one at the bottom middle.
Oh,
no, they're both in the middle.
Are they? Is this like a reverse type situation, where the same type of spaces? No, never mind. Nope, carry on. Thought I noticed something.
He notices things. But it's just, to me, I think that for a Toad board, there should be, I get what the happening space is. There should be item spaces everywhere. That's literally the event that has Toad. And of course, Baby Bowser too, but that's still the event that you will see Toad on, right? So I just feel like that was a missed opportunity not to include more of those spaces, right? Sure. There should definitely be more item spaces on the board. And this is a very linear board. And I think one thing we want to keep in mind when we make boards like this is what is the special thing that makes this board special. And SuperZambezi helped you out a bit by saying, oh, look, like you can quickly circle around and go to the other side and get a star. That's true. That is absolutely true. And having a golden mushroom on this board will probably be awesome. You can probably circle like almost the whole thing, right? But it's just, I think that we need more added. We need something more for a board like this, because it's just lacking in things that make it more interesting. You know what I mean? Like more, even more to the background. Toad should be present on this board. There's tons of Toads. Look at Paper Mario, right? How many Toads do they have in those Paper Mario games? Sticker Star, Color Splash. How many Toads are there? There's like a ton of them. So there's no shortage of Toads, right? You have Toadette, you have Toadsworth, you have all these Toads. So there should be Toads everywhere. There should be a Toad party, right? Toad panic. So just doing things like that, adding more Toads on the board, I feel like will make it stick out just a little bit more. Because look, there's Boo on the board, there's a green shell on the board, but Toad, where's Toad? I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna make a board and name it something like that, you should probably have more Toad. And luckily for you, you can fix this and add more Toads to make it, more relevant to the title you chose.
Yeah, and I absolutely encourage people in this contest, after some of our feedback, after some community feedback, like, by all means, go and try to update your board to do whatever you think is something that people will enjoy a little more. This is not the final story for a board.
Of course not.
In this contest. Also, just one other thing to mention. I don't know if this is kind of like a mistake and people don't really know how to use Party Planner fully yet, but things like an arrow pointing to a bank, that means you can't land on bank and the coins are just taken from you and that's it. Maybe that was intentional. If it was, I kind of hate that.
I hate that.
I don't know. I would never really like, unless there's a really good purpose for it, I don't really like that concept where they'll just take coins but you can never earn them back. I think that's generally what we think about this board. For the point breakdown, unfortunately we gave the background a 2, the path layout an 8, the custom events, which we don't really talk about, but they're your standard fare, the ones that we have available. We gave that a 4, and we talked about this a lot, but we gave the contest theme a 1 because it's not really present. It's really not clear whose board this is, and there's really not much going on to even point in a direction, like you said. So we wrapped that board up with a 15 out of 50. Okay, we have 2 more boards left, and I'll introduce the next one. This is Luigi's Void, and this was made by Mortarizer. Now, there is a lot going on in this board. There is a ton of Luigi, a ton of different kinds of Luigi. Lots of variety here. My first reaction to this board was like, oh, it's just kind of like a meme board. Like lots of little internet things here and there. And like, that's not really my thing. I don't really gravitate towards that. But I actually played this board and I had a great time with it. So honestly, I want to hear your thoughts. You enjoyed this one as well. Tell me what you think about Luigi's Void.
What do I think about Luigi's Void? Oh boy. I feel like you should have explained it a little bit more first. Well, this board is made by Mortarizer. Now, Mortarizer is someone I've known in the past who's made Mario Party boards, and he's always done a great job. From what I've seen, he's running some events on Activity Central. So I know Mortarizer can make great boards, and this board is just, oh my, that's my reaction when I first saw it. Oh my, whoa, okay, wow, gosh, I was speechless the first time I saw this. When he showed me, SuperZambezi showed me, I think, a snippet of this before it was fully finished, and I was just like, oh my god, that's, I didn't know what to say. Like, I was so like flustered from all of this Luigi-ness in my face. So I think this is this board, I'm playing on it and seeing it, it's just so awesome to me how the way you were thinking making this board, like just including these memes, including the different types of Luigi, like I feel like it's all strategic and it all kind of goes together because these are different memes from different things, not even just memes but just like pictures, right? And then you just kind of put it together and it works. It works perfectly. It works. Luigi's Void is actually Luigi's Void. Like, whoa. I love this board. The path layout is really cool. The background is amazing. You want to explore this board. And SuperZambezi had to stop me one time because I kept exploring it.
Yes, he did.
I was exploring a different,
he went right up the top left part, and he just stood there and was just staring at these cheeks for days. And I like, hey. Like, come on, we're playing a game. What are you doing? It's
like I'm a dog. Like, you just have to be like, hey, get away from there.
It's so bad.
It kept happening. It happened a couple times. I'm just like going to this part. I'm just like I'm just like there, just looking, and he's like, hey, come, get away from there. It was so hilarious. And it happened more than once.
Yes, it did. And what's cool is that I feel like every time I look at this board, I discover something new, something I didn't see before. That's just how much content there is here. Like, I'm looking inside the mansion right now, and it looks like there's Luigi on the table or something, and I don't know. There's like a Yoda statue. It's like weird, but it's like good kind of weird. I think there's a lot to love here.
SC loves a lot of it. Yep.
In terms of the actual playing of the board, also great. I'm trying to think, like, is there anything that's here that I don't really like? For example, the spot on the left where there's the ring of red spaces and happening spaces. Like, do I like that? And I think I do. The happening spaces give you a 25% chance of being warped somewhere else. So it's not like it's a huge risk to go that way with all the red spaces. The alternative is to pass bank and just quickly go through. There's a system where I think it's like every other day, something about Luigi's Void, like doesn't let you go down a certain path. I don't know. There's like a lot of random weird stuff going on here that I can't fully explain, but I don't know.
Did you mention Luigi with the sunglasses?
The beach one?
Yeah.
the one that like the path layout is covering. Yeah. Actually, a star can spawn right on top of him. It's so ridiculous. There's so many references to Luigi. Like, you might not be able to tell because there's so much going on, but there's a Luigi's mansion, like actual mansion, in the background, and it's all fully like decked out with references and little things here and there. Actually, I think the stairs are part of the path layout. See, look, I'm still discovering stuff. So, if anything, like, play this board just to see all the sights.
Yeah.
So,
all the sights. And he looks at me and says, all the sights.
Yeah.
One thing I'll also point out with this board that I really like is the path layout has like little Luigi gloves kind of pointing where you gotta go.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's cool.
I thought that was really cool. I thought that was so awesome. Like, there's just gloves pointing you exactly where you're gonna go. So you're not gonna get confused too much about all this Luigi pictures everywhere all up in your face. You'll see, like, the little hands of where you gotta go. And I just think that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's such a nice feature. I really appreciate that, because like I said earlier in this video, that it's very important that you know where you gotta go. And that definitely takes care of a lot of it. So that is awesome. And just, oh my god. Scrolling.
He's gonna start blushing. Let's
start blushing again.
Start wrap it up. One other thing I
Yeah.
wanted to mention is that I think it was me, but when you start the game, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't spoil this. It's a funny thing that happens, but there's a funny thing that happens if
Yes.
you roll a specific number at the start of the game. It's cool. It's like a nice added detail that
Yes.
I don't know. You can tell that a lot of attention was given to this board, and I definitely think it deserves the praise. I also, if I remember correctly, Mortarizer said that he was working with a group of people on this board, so
Yes.
I wanted, if that's true, I wanted to thank those people too. Like, you guys did a great job. This visually looks really nice, and yeah, I can see this being another one of those boards that people play repeatedly in the future.
People are gonna keep playing. Also, by the way, there's a top. If you look all the way to the top right, there's a Luigi moon. I just thought I would point that out. Just cut. So just a moon of Luigi.
Moon. Yeah. For the point breakdown, we gave the background a 12. We gave the path layout a 10. Custom events, we gave a 12 as well. And the contest theme was a 5. So we gave the board an overall score of 39 out of 50.
Alright guys, let's get into our final board for this Mario Party board contest. So we have here for you Game Guy's Crafted Casino by Mr. Star. Woo, oh boy. This board is, as you can see from the picture of it, it's, and as you can, actually, what I mean to say is, as you can see from the title, it's crafted. It's actually crafted. It is made by, it's handmade by Mr. Star, who carefully crafted different paper and stuff and put together a Mario Party board for Party Planner. He literally put it together, like, handmade. Like, this is a totally new thing for the Mario Party board contest. Like, we've had people draw. Right, we've had people draw things. We had people use things like Minecraft. In this one, we had Roller Coaster Tycoon. We had different things like that. Mm-hmm. But this person, Mr. Star, literally crafted everything together. And then, oh my gosh, as you can see, like, I'm like literally, totally like fawning over this board because I just think it's so beautiful. Oh my gosh, like, you have no clue. So as you start on this board, there's many different things that reference Game Guy and like little things. Like, here's an example. There's a roulette, right? There's the two chests at the top, which is actually an event. Like, you pick one and you get something,
you lose pick left or right, yeah.
And then there's the cake at the top from the Sweet Surprise, and then there's the Lucky 7 Steps. Like, all of Game Guy's games are referenced in this board. And just throughout the board, there's different casino themes. Like, you have like what do you call those? Slot machines.
Yes.
You have dice.
Coin.
You have the aces of the spades or whatever you call those things. Oh my god. This is everything. This is everything. And is there anything else we need to know about this board that I probably have missed?
I don't know, like, I'm ready to go into my praise moment, but
okay, well, you know what, I want you to go first because I already said a lot, and I'll say my piece after yours.
Sure. Yeah, no,
sure,
like you've said, there's no other board like this, and just the fact that every piece was cut out and placed perfectly. Like, and have you used scissors? they're not the easiest things to cut out things perfectly. This is done just like that, and it's done so well. I mean, look at some of the spots on the path layout. You have cards laid out, you have money laid out. That's part of the layout. You go on the coins, you go on different like cards. Kind of already said that, but like that's one of the coolest things of this board is just seeing how much time and care went into it. But not just time and care, but it looks and plays really well. I'm gonna keep gushing about like how it looks, and then we can move on to path layout because I don't want to go over everything.
Okay.
Even the stuff like the background, you still have kind of that box Mario Party style, and then you have those pins in the background that make it look like it's like glistening stars type thing. It's just done so well. I don't know. There's even. Now, Mr. Star did his homework because there's a Staryu in the bottom left corner of the board. And if you've watched the previous contest, you will know that putting in a Staryu brings up spirits.
Brings up spirits?
Especially for one particular individual. So,
I mean...
I don't know. It's just... I have a lot to say about the... I don't have that much to say, but
oh my gosh.
I have a few things to say about the path layout too, but I'm just so incredibly impressed with this. And
okay, let me gush over the background a little bit. Okay, come on. You gotta give some to me. Oh my god. Just the fact that, as Mr. Star explains, that he took the time to, it's like a couple weeks, and I'm sure it did, to just piece everything together. And when you actually play the board, it looks gorgeous. Like I mentioned earlier, you want to explore and see what's on the board, and it's just like every part of the board has something special or something unique. You look at and be like, oh, okay. And oh my god, like it may seem like a little bit silly just to keep being like, oh my gosh, but really like doing these contests and seeing things like this, like hard work putting in to make just such an amazing board that I'm sure people are going to play for many years to come. It's just so awesome to me.
Yeah.
And making a board for Game Guy, like, oh my god. And when you act, like I was mentioning, when you play the board, the music's great. It takes the music from the dual maps, which actually works really well.
Yeah,
surprisingly, it works great. It's awesome. And okay, I'm not gonna lie and say I don't have a, like, when I saw the Staryu, I didn't like flip out. And ironically, I want to mention this, I didn't think I noticed the Staryu at first. SC noticed it, I think. I'm pretty sure you noticed it first and pointed it out to me. Yeah. And then I'm just like, oh, Staryu, oh
where did you get that one from?
Oh, I didn't show you this one, it's my shiny one.
Are you kidding me? Okay.
Are you kidding me? Who else would have two Staryus?
I mean, it makes sense, but I just look over, I'm like, wait, what?
If this is a clue, guys, if this is a clue, I can't paint anything out for you more than that. But that Staryu thing is so cool, and I'm so thankful, Mr. Star, that you had that in there, because it means so much to have, like, to see someone do something like that for me. But even without that, I would have loved this board, because it's just so beautiful. It's such a great board. Oh my gosh, I could stare at it all day. I'm being honest. I could just keep staring at it.
The one thing I will say, there's only one thing I'll say about the background is that because it's a photograph, the contrast is kind of low. It's kind of like muddied. Not muddied, but the colors are not very vibrant. They don't pop out.
They're washed out.
Which, honestly, you can fix that with it. Like, throw it into Photoshop or some kind of image editing thing.
Yeah, just up the saturation.
That kind of stuff, yeah. I think that would help a decent amount for this board. Like, seriously, it looks beautiful. Let's talk about the path layout. If you notice, the board is symmetrical. The left and the right side can fold onto each other and they'll be fairly the same. I think the board is a lot of fun to play. Moving around the board, going through the different events, the junctions. I think both of us really, really love the bottom circle, where you can circle the item shop, where you go down and then you go to the center to get your item and then come back down. Actually, when I played, I was not stuck. I purposely stayed down there for like 6 or 7 turns.
He wanted to stay there. He wasn't stuck.
Because I was accumulating coins, trying to have a good amount before I like branch out and leave. And I don't know, there's just, it's not a huge and long winding board. You can get around pretty quick, and I don't know, it's just great. What do you think?
It's great. My reaction's gonna be the same as yours. Oh, it's great. That's it. I love the path layouts for this board. I was a little worried about people maybe abusing the item shop because, like he mentioned, he was just kind of in that area for a long time. But there's a lot of different parts of this board that will make you want to explore as well. Like once you're done and good with the item shop, you go out and venture off. And there's lots of, oh my god. I can't. It's so great. Oh my gosh. Those little cherries at the top. Oh my god, I can't. The layout is really nice. It looks very clean. And then like we were talking about, you just gotta remember that this was handcrafted. Like, look how clean that cut is from going upwards. Like, look at the left part of the board. Go all the way left to where Staryu's at. Go up.
Mm-hmm.
It curves up so beautifully. Like, there isn't a mark or anything like weirdly cut or anything. It's just so perfectly angled upwards. Like, can you, Mr. Star, could you like show me some of the techniques you have? Because I would love to have your skills with crafting or scissors or whatever. It's just so cleanly cut. The trees, the Staryu, I keep saying that, the slot machines. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that might not be as impressive as everything else are the custom events. They make sense. Like the slot machine gives you a few coins or whatever. But overall, I think they're pretty basic. There's not anything that's too like crazy or interesting. The one interesting thing was the custom event that you did want, the Lucky 7 event up there in the top left, where I think you roll a certain amount and you get the item that's shown there, something like that. Or if you go over 7, you go to Bowser. It's supposed to be where those 3 item spaces are. Those are supposed to be happening spaces that warp you there. Mr. Star says that he couldn't get that working, so it's not in the game right now. Unfortunately, that's how it is for this contest, and we have to view it as such. Even though it's a cool idea, it doesn't count for the board. It's not implemented. So overall, the custom events are fine. They're
all right.
They're fine. Yeah, they're all right.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. What else should we say?
Oh gosh, Mr. Star, I'm just really happy that you contributed this work of art to us for the contest. I'm gonna keep gushing over it, but it's such a beautiful board. Like the layout, the space distribution's pretty good, right? There's a fair amount of blue spaces, item spaces. Game Guy spaces are increased, but of course, it's Game Guy's. This is a Game Guy board, right?
Yeah.
Game Guy is crafted. This is gonna be Game Guy spaces more often. So I'm not bothered by that for this. Space distribution's great. It's a very small board, but it gets the job done. It gets the job done, and it works out great. And I'm very interested to see people play this board and like make strategies for it and such. Because oh man, it just looks great. It looks professionally made. Really good, Mr. Star.
So, I think we should go over the point breakdown.
Yes, we should.
We went all out. We did 15 points for the background. This is super creative, and I think that's very well deserved. And we gave the path layout 14. I don't know. There's something about this symmetrical, fast-moving board that just really works. I mean, we played this and we had a ton of fun here. For custom events, 10. There were some good ones, and they were custom events, right? Nothing too crazy. And for the contest theme, obviously a 5. You definitely nailed the lucky Game Guy type thing, for sure.
Yeah.
So that brings it to a total of 44 out of 50.
Whoa.
And now,
Mr. Star.
Before you can like really wrap your head around what the order of who is where, I'm going to quickly get into our top 3 winners, because you do win something. You win some eShop cards. the value of which I don't remember. It's in the contest thing. You'll find out when you win.
Just look at it.
It's too late. Whatever. You're gonna win something. First place wins more than second place and third place. How about that? So in third place, we have Luigi's Void by Mortarizer with a total of 39 out of 50 points. In second place, we have King Boo Carnival by Mario Comics. That got a 41 out of 50. And as you just heard, Game Guy's Crafted Casino, which we really loved, by Mr. Star. That got a 44 out of 50, and that is going to be our first place winner of the fourth grade Mario Party board contest. So,
Mr. Star.
Yeah, these were great selection of boards. I was actually really nervous when we were doing the contest because we did not have that many submissions, but towards the end, near the deadline, that's when people really pulled through, and that says something. That says that people really took the time with some of these boards, and it showed in what you submitted and in the time that you submitted, because it was really pushing it at times. Yes, so thank you to everyone that submitted and anyone that helped create the boards, whether it be artwork or the custom event coding. Thank you for all of that. That's how we were able to make this contest. Yeah?
Yes. I think we want to also give a special shout out to Ursula, who helped a lot of people with their custom events. People who maybe struggle a bit with adding custom events to their boards. Ursula was helping them out, and just, you know, that's very appreciated.
Yes,
Appreciate it. It's really awesome. So thank you very much, Ursula, for helping everyone with that.
Thank you for not making me say the username. That drives me crazy. That's gonna do it for this contest. So we will wrap it up with some social media links, so you can keep following us. I am SuperZambezi on Twitter and on YouTube, and actually on Discord, I guess. So add me, I guess. I don't know. People will try to add me on Discord, and I don't even realize. I have all my notifications turned off, so that's just a thing if you try. Okay.
SC wants you to add him on Discord. Okay. I'm SpiderStaryu on YouTube, Twitter. That's where I'm mostly active. Instagram, all that stuff is SpiderStaryu. You can follow me on all those places. I'm most active currently on Twitter. So Twitter would be a great place to follow me. I share funny GIFs. I share great moments. I post great pictures of Switch games I'm playing and stuff like that. So definitely follow me on Twitter. It will be the best place to contact me, honestly. So yeah.
And I also want to make sure people know where to go if you want to play these boards. We will have a very minimal breakdown of each board in this contest in a nice long post with links to exactly where you can download it. And that's the same place where you can download all the other custom boards that we already have available. That includes boards from past contests and new ones that are just being made randomly because people like to make boards. And there's a lot of good ones, so don't miss out on that. That's going to be on MarioPartyLegacy.com. We also have a Discord for Mario Party Legacy where we have a dedicated section to Party Planner 64 where people talk about the tool and their boards that they're making and their custom events and just a lot of like hacking stuff. It's very interesting. It goes over my head most of the time, but it's really, really cool. So I invite you to the Discord as well. That's where you want to talk about these kinds of things. If you enjoyed this video, that's where you'll want to be. And I think that's going to do it for this contest. So SpiderStaryu, thank you for joining me on another contest.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being a judge. And
Thank you for being a good judge too.
I
mean.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you to everyone who submitted a board, and thank you to all those who watched. And that's that. Thanks.
That's it.
See you later. Goodbye.
See you guys later. Goodbye.